You can smell the gingerbread in the air. The bags are packed. Your out of office is on. You are finally on vacation. Maybe it's Christmas morning.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there's that pull, isn't there? That physical tug. Your hand is already reaching for the phone before you're even fully awake.
It's almost a reflex.
Right.
That one little buzz from an email and you're right back in it.
Mm-hmm.
Pulled back into the orbit of work.
You tell yourself just 5 minutes, just a quick look to make sure the world isn't on fire.
But it's never just 5 minutes, is it?
Okay.
And it's not just the time, it's the mental energy. Suddenly you're sitting there at the breakfast table, you're physically with your family, but, a good 30% of your brain is still in your inbox.
That exact state, the physically present but mentally absent leader, is what we are doing a deep dive on today.
And our source for this is some really fascinating new research from Phoenix Performance Partners.
Right, it's their latest article, The Gift of Unplugging in Presence.
And our mission here is very practical. We want to help you, the listener, really identify what's going on inside that makes true rest feel so impossible.
We want to expose that little inner voice that sabotages your time off and, most importantly, give you a real, actionable framework to move past what the article calls fake presence.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. The first thing the Phoenix Performance Partners material says is actually, well, it's pretty reassuring.
Which is?
That this inability to unplug is not a character flaw. It's not a sign of weak willpower.
So what is it then?
It's what they call your default success strategy, and it's operating exactly as it was designed to.
Okay, that's a huge insight. So the very things that made you successful, that drive, that might for control, are now the things getting in the way.
Precisely. These unconscious drives, they got you the promotion. They made you a leader. The problem is, when it's time to rest, those same successful behaviors become counterproductive.
That makes sense. But how do you just turn it off? If my drive for perfection got me through a huge project, how do I reprogram that just because the calendar says it's vacation time? How do we flip that switch?
That's the million-dollar question. And the answer lies in understanding this internal critic that the research talks about. This voice is on a 24/7 schedule, even when your out of office is on.
And the critic's job is to keep you in your comfort zone.
Exactly. And here's the deep irony. For most leaders, the comfort zone is working. It's being productive, being in control. Trying to actually rest feels risky. It's uncomfortable.
So the moment you finally put the phone down, that's when the critic starts screaming at you to pick it back up.
It's trying to drag you back to what's familiar, even if what's familiar is total exhaustion. And this critic, this internal saboteur, it doesn't just have one voice.
The authors break it down into 4 different types, right, based on our core drivers.
Yes. And recognizing your specific flavor of critic is, I think, the most important first step to shutting it down.
Okay, let's get into those. This is where it gets really useful.
So first, if your driver is control or achievement, your self-worth is tied directly to what you produce.
So the critic's message is...
It's very direct.
Yeah.
If you're not producing, you're not valuable. Or the big one, everything will fall apart without you. This critic believes real leaders don't take time off. They have to be indispensable.
I think we all know that person.
Yes.
Or we've been that person. Okay, what's next?
Next is the harmony-oriented leader. This person is driven by stability and peace. Their critic is a bit more insidious. It uses guilt.
So it's less about power and more about letting people down.
Exactly. Resting feels selfish to them. The voice says, you're letting your team down, or what if someone needs you and you miss that one email? The fear isn't that the project will fail, but that they'll disappoint someone.
Okay, that's a tricky one. Then we have the connected-oriented leader. I'm guessing this is about fear of missing out.
You got it. Fear of exclusion, fear of losing relevance. The critic says things like, you're missing out on key decisions, or people will forget about you if you go dark for a week.
So the anxiety is that someone else will step up and solve a problem and you'll lose your status.
Precisely. And then finally, you have the accuracy-oriented leader, driven by perfection and correctness.
Their critic must hate uncertainty.
Despises it. It says, you're not prepared for what's coming next, or something will go wrong if you're not monitoring the data. For this person, rest is just reckless. It's a failure to prepare.
So no matter which critic is speaking, the underlying message is always that doing nothing is dangerous.
It's dangerous. And the research says you have to move past just hearing the voice and actually name the specific fear underneath it.
Articulate it.
Yes. Don't just say, I'm worried about work. Say, I'm afraid that if I don't check in, the new CFO will think I'm weak, or I'm afraid my project will derail and it will prove I'm not actually needed.
And why is naming it so powerful?
Because when you name it, You move it from that lizard brain emotional space into your rational executive function brain. You can look at it logically.
And ask, is this real?
Is this fear based on evidence, or is it just the critic catastrophizing?
Yeah.
And almost every time, leaders find their fears are just wildly exaggerated. The organization doesn't collapse.
Realizing the world won't end without you. That's a huge step.
Yeah.
And it brings us to maybe the most painful part of the research, the hidden cost of fake presence.
This is a devastating truth.
Yeah.
High achievers think that as long as they're physically there, at the dinner table, they're doing their duty, even if they're checking their phone every 10 minutes.
But there's a specific quote in the article that just stops you in your tracks.
Yeah.
Half present is harder on relationships than fully absent.
We really need to unpack that because it feels counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Right.
But it's about the message you're sending.
It's not just a distraction.
No, it's an active competition. When you're checking your email during dinner, you're sending a clear message. I'm here with you, but this thing on my phone is more important right now.
So your family is left feeling like they're less important than your inbox.
Yes, total absence is painful, but it's clear. This partial presence, this fake presence, it creates this constant, insidious feeling of not being valued. And your kids, your partner, they feel it. They can tell when you're mentally composing an email while they're opening a gift.
That's powerful. And this failure to be present, it obviously hurts the leader, too. The article really pushes us to redefine self-care. It's not just a bubble bath, it's a strategy.
Right. Self-care for a leader is about creating the conditions for sustainable high performance. You can't lead from an empty tank. It's not a reward, it's the fuel.
The article breaks it down into a few key components of what real self-care looks like here.
Yeah, first is actual resting. That means your mind is quiet, not just your body. Then there's being present, fully in the moment, not monitoring two realities at once.
And then the relational piece.
Honoring relationships. Recognizing your family didn't sign up to compete with your job for your attention. And finally, refilling your tank with joy, with connection, with things that have real meaning outside of work.
Which brings us to the core insight. Rest is not the opposite of productivity. It's the foundation of it.
It's the foundation. And if you want a great Q1, you have to allow for real replenishment now. This thinking leads us straight into the practical framework for actually making this happen.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. It's a concrete 5-step process. And the key is you do this before your break starts. You block out 20 minutes to set yourself up for success.
Exactly. Step 1, name your intention. And this is key. You define your break by what you're seeking, not just what you're avoiding.
Let's not just avoid work.
No. What do you genuinely long for? Write it down. Deep connection with my kids, quiet reflection, genuine rest. Be specific about the goal.
Define the win up front. I like that. What's step 2?
Step 2, identify your saboteur. This is where you get honest. You write down exactly how your critic will try to pull you back. The urge to check email at 10 a.m., the impulse to rewrite that deck on Christmas Eve.
You make the enemy visible.
You make it visible. So when the impulse hits, your rational brain can say, there you are, I was expecting you. And then you can make a different choice.
Then you need the rules of engagement, boundaries.
Step 3, create your boundaries.
Yeah.
And be hyper-specific. Don't just say, I'll limit my email. Say, my phone goes in a drawer at 6 p.m., or I will check work for 20 minutes at 4 p.m., and that's it. Specificity closes the loopholes the critic loves to exploit.
Okay, makes sense. And then step 4 is about accountability.
Step 4, make it explicit. Tell someone. Tell your team, I am completely unreachable for the next 5 days. More importantly, tell your partner, I'm committing to being fully present. If you see me on my work phone, please call me out.
That's a big one. It turns it into a real promise.
It shows you're serious. And finally, step 5, set up your return. This is just smart planning. Delegate what you can, set expectations, and have a clear plan for your first 2 hours back so you don't walk into chaos.
Because walking back into chaos just proves the critic right. It says, see, you never should have left.
Exactly. The plan for your return is what allows you to emotionally let go during the break. You can release that grip on control.
So wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway for the leader who's listening right now?
I think it comes down to understanding the true value of your presence. Your organization can find another leader. Your team can hire another manager.
But your family, your kids, they can't replace you.
They can't. And the gift of your full, undivided attention is the only thing that really, truly matters to them. It's the one gift only you can give.
So the biggest act of leadership during a break is actually leading yourself.
It is. So the challenge from the authors is try this today, right now. Block out 20 minutes, write your intention, name your saboteur, create your boundaries, and tell someone.
And then when that critic starts whispering that anxiety, that guilt, you'll be ready. You can engage your executive brain and say, I see you, I know that fear, but I've already made a different choice.
That is what true leadership looks like.
Let's end with the question from the research that they say changes everything, the one to ask yourself right now.
10 years from now, when you look back at this very break, what will you wish you had done?
We wish you had checked a few more emails, stayed on top of a few more minor issues.
Or will you wish you had been more present, laughed more freely, rested more deeply, and connected more genuinely with the people who matter most?
You already know the answer. The only question left is, will you choose it?